In this video, we're going to talk about the updates that happened for February 2020. We're going to start off by heading over to the company setup. So from the main menu, click Settings, click Company Setup. And right away you can see another tab has been added, and the title of this tab is Email. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and we're going to go through each one of these options to see what has changed, if anything. So let's click on the email default settings. And right away you can see a new option here, which is to notify the customer. You have the ability to turn off the customer notifications whenever you're sending an email out. You will still have the option to click on to send an email notification to a customer. So the decision will be, do you more than not want to send an email notification to the customer? Then turn it on. If you more than not don't want to send an email notification to the customer, then switch it off. I like to have mine on. And then of course, whenever I want to send an email notification, I do have the option to switch it off. The email account that's going to be visible when you've actually sent an email to your customer is by default the no reply at Teesom. But once you create a couple of email accounts, you can click on one of these options to actually save it and say that you always want it to be sent from this account. I'm going to leave mine on no reply at Teesom. Another new feature is you have the ability to send an email to a customer as plain text or as HTML. And as you can see, you can pick the default option here, but then of course when you go to send an email, you do have the ability to switch it from HTML to plain text, or vice versa, from plain text to HTML. I prefer the HTML option. In the advanced email settings, this is strictly where you're going to set up the DKIM certificates. And if you haven't done this yet, I highly encourage you to reach out to our live support by using the chat button here in the lower left-hand corner and go ahead and get this set up. This is just going to improve the sound quality of your outgoing emails. When you click on email accounts, you have unlimited email accounts that you can set up in here, and you would simply click on new email account to create a new one. But you may have already created a couple of email accounts that you can now go in and edit and see new features. When you click the edit button, you can see number one, there's an option to set the DKIM, and there's secondly another option to BCC somebody on every outgoing email from this email account. And as you can see, I've already put 2 BCC email addresses in there. You also have the ability to attach a file that will go out with every email that's sent from the art department. And as you can see, I've already attached a file called My Terms and Conditions document. To go ahead and add another email address, you would simply type in an email and then go ahead and just click on the plus option. If you want to delete a BCC email, just go ahead and hit the X and it deletes it off. To attach a file is very simple. Click on the attach file option and then go find your file and you can attach it. Once you have everything the way you want it, go ahead and hit save, and that updates your email settings. Let's go ahead and send an email out just so you can see what happens here. Okay, I'm going to head to my job board, and I'm going to go ahead and click on I want to send this art approval out again. So I'm going to click the action button and I'm going to click send approval request. I'm just going to let it default to these 3 options, and then notice this button now says preview and send. So it's going to default to sending to the customer on file, and I can certainly add another email address in here that I want to send to, and then if I want to attach a file, I can attach a file. And then if I want to change any verbiage here, maybe I don't want it to say revision 5, I just want it to say art approval. So let's get rid of the revision 5 and let's just put art approval in there. And notice I can come in here, and this is again a new feature, and I can add verbiage here. And then let's go ahead and send this email, which is going to be the HTML option, and then we'll come back and send it again as the plain text option. So right now it's set to HTML, and I'm going to go ahead and hit send. Now let's head back to our inbox for our email, and notice this just says art approval. There's no revision 5. And here's the verbiage that we added. And customer can still click there to view the approval. All right, let's go back and let's send that again, but this time let's send it as plain text. I'm going to go ahead and hit plain text here and add verbiage here. And we'll go ahead and we'll leave that revision 6 in there. And let's go ahead and hit send. Jump back to our email here, and there's our revision 6. And this is what it looks like. And do you see I've added my add verbiage here line. And let me just show you that one last time, but we're not going to really send it this time. Notice that there's no option here to uncheck to not send this to the customer, because this is an important one. But let's go ahead and say, let's take a payment. And notice by default, it's going to opt to send to the customer, but I can turn this off and I can take a payment. And let's put in a check number and then go ahead and hit pay. And that's all there is about emails in this new update. Another feature that's changed in the 2020 update is the customer's order view. I've got a quote here on screen and I'm going to send it to the customer. So as you can see, there's my preview and send option, and I'm just going to send it as is. Go ahead and hit send. And jump over to the inbox here, and I'm going to go ahead and open the quote as if I'm the customer. You can see I'm in the customer view because I can see the logo here for the company that sent it. And a new feature is it now says place order up in the upper right hand corner, and it also says place order down below. The customer can go ahead and click on the place order there. He has the option to switch it to any of the 3-tier options if he was given 3-tier options. He can see the total amount due, he can see whether or not there was a deposit required, and then the order needs to get placed by 2/20/2020. And then new also is his option to put in a purchase order. And then he'll go ahead and make sure that this box is selected to accept the terms and conditions. And it's telling him when he has to have art in, and then he can submit the order here. I'm going to cancel out of this, and I'm going to go back to the Teesom quote here, and I'm going to take it off of net 15 and put 100% deposit and send this quote again. So let's go ahead and just send it. This time I've turned the gravity payments option off completely in Teesom, and I'm going to resend the email to the customer that is required 100% deposit. So here you can see he's required 100% deposit. However, there's no payment option now. So when I go to send the email to the customer, I go into the preview and send. I can add a line in here that says, please contact us at to make a payment. And the cool thing about this, I can highlight it and I'm going to make this bold. And I just hit Control B to make that bold. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the send button. And now let's go ahead and view the quote with 100% deposit. And as you can see, it says here, please contact us, and it lists the number to make a payment. And so when he clicks here to view the quote, and he now clicks to place the order, he can see there's no payment option available, but he can see that if he wants it in 15 days, it's going to be $19.65. If he wants it urgent, it's $22.01, etc., etc. Okay, because Joe had to call us to move the order forward and for me to take a payment, I've already done so. So let's go ahead and open the order. I've already converted it to an invoice, as you can see here, and I've already taken the full payment, as you can see here. So I'm just going to go ahead, even though I've sent an order confirmation, I'm going to send the invoice just so we can click on it. And I want to show you a new feature that is going to happen at the time of the order confirmation, but I'm going to show you when I send it as an invoice as well. So we went ahead and sent the invoice, and here's the invoice. And let's go ahead and click here to view the invoice. And when Joe gets that order confirmation or a copy of the invoice, he will actually be able to see that the invoice has been paid. And then if he clicks on the paid option in the upper right hand corner, he's actually going to be able to see that how he took the payment, and it's now clickable so he can see his transactions. So that's another new feature that you may want to share with your customer, that he can click on that paid option. And I don't know if you saw that, but he can also hover over it and it's going to say to click to view the transactions. If he hits the view option down below, it's just going to show what the total order amount and how much he paid. So he can still see it there as well. Also new in Teesom is the ability to refund to Charge It Pro / Gravity payments. Unfortunately, I can't show you that because I do not have that option turned on in my Teesom. But if you have any questions with that, please contact me and I'm happy to walk you through that. It's simply going to walk through the options of refunding, and then the Charge It Pro screen will come up to allow you to do it through Charge It Pro. You also do not need a card on file in order to process a refund. So if a customer contacts you and says, hey, I need a refund, and you agree with that, but you don't have a card on file, you can actually come up here to the refund option and simply just type in the amount that you want to refund, and then the reference would just be whatever credit card you're using. So the one ending in 5466 is the one we're going to now refund. I don't agree with this 100%. I think you should always refund the option, whatever card you initially took or however the payment was taken. So for example, if you took a check and they want a refund, I would refund via check. If you took a Visa ending in 4222, then that would be the Visa that I would refund it. But you do have the option now to refund to any type of method that they want to refund by. Okay, let's talk art approvals for a second. I have an order here that needs the art approval sent, so I'm going to click on the action button and click on send approval. I'm just going to uncheck the OTP and go ahead and send as normal. And again, you're going to get the preview and send. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the send button to go ahead and send it. And let's go ahead and go back to our inbox here, and let's go ahead and click on the approval option. Okay, something new is we've changed the view more option to say view detail. And if you click on the view detail, pretty much everything has stayed the same in here. This has been fine-tuned a little bit to say colors on imprint, approval comment, and then imprint specs. So number of colors, the measurements, etc. So that's been improved a little bit. You can see that it's a full front, a little bit better now. But one of the biggest things we heard is they didn't want to just see the logo image when clicking on this little icon right here. So watch what happens when I click on it now. So it's basically the same as clicking on the view details. So if I click on the icon again, you can see that same information there. So whether they click on the view detail or they click on the little image here, it basically is the same thing. Also, the submit button has changed a little bit. This used to say approve or reject, and now it says submit. You still have the approve reject over here. Same thing. They will need to type in comments there if they do reject it. The last improvement I'd like to talk about is with the QuickBooks Online feature. Once you connect to the QuickBooks Online, two things will happen. On both the customers and supplier list, it now shows the top 50 instead of the top 10 customers or suppliers to send over. And then, oh, thank goodness, we have a new synced or not synced option that you can filter out customers and suppliers that have already been sent over and just show you ones that have not been sent over. So those are two great improvements there. And then the last one, you can see it no longer says beta anymore. It's just going to show you what revision that you're on. So overall, covered a lot of improvements that you are going to notice, but there are going to be background improvements that are going to make a huge impact on like the purchasing, the job board, and a couple other places that you're probably not going to see, but you're going to feel them. So always looking to keep improving, and hopefully you guys are happy about the new update. Thanks so much for watching, and please let us know if there's anything we can do.